What's up, team? Welcome back to the podcast. Hope we're all doing absolutely fucking sound, are on top of the world, and if not on top of the world, just coasting through life and having a good one. I'm going to start off this podcast or this episode by asking a question. How do you talk to yourself during a workout? Or how do you talk to yourself during a set? Or how do you talk to yourself between sets? Or when you're working out, when shit hits the fan and you don't really know who you are, never mind what you're doing to yourself, how do you talk to yourself? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it completely blank? I know a lot of people that don't think at all. They just completely zone out and their mind is basically an abyss, completely black, and they don't really think or say anything. I think those people are cyborgs. There's very rarely that myself personally will stare off blankly and not really think or feel. I can do it, but usually it's deep into competition and I'm just feeling how my body is actually reacting to the stimulus. So that's usually, obviously, I'm going by feel, not just completely numb. So those people that can go numb, kudos, but you're also not human. So that's cool. Yes, team. So how do you talk to yourself during a workout? There's no right or wrong answer with this. To be honest, it's just it's a curiosity of mine. Just come back from a workout down CrossFit Trailblazer. Absolutely great gym. So if you're in Christchurch, give that a whirl. It's brilliant. Coaches are legends, no short of legends. So I just want to give those a lot of shout out. I was just thinking about it because for me personally, it fluctuates. You know, some days, sometimes in the workout, depends on what I'm doing or whatever. It will go from positive to negative. It will go from aggressive to calm. It will go to composed to downright chaotic. It kind of ebbs and flows. Comes like the wind or the waves. But I think I've only been able to develop that because I've done multiple sports and I've been training for a long fucking time, put it that way. So I know the feedback and I know the signs that my body's sort of telling me, whether it's a go day, whether it's a no day, whether it's a let's cruise day, whether it's half and half, or whether it's right, you're being a little bitch now, mate. Like you need to fucking grab your nuts, see what you got, and let's go for it. Obviously, you get those athletes that need the positive thoughts in their own head, and this is completely taken out of external factors, such as coaches, such as training partners, such as athletes within the gym that are cheering you on. This is completely down to the thoughts in your own mind and the conversation you have with yourself when shit hits the fan, when your lungs are burning and your heart's beating out your chest. Okay, how do you talk to yourself? And like I said, there are those athletes that need to be like, oh, come on, you can do this. You're strong enough, you're fit enough, you're quick enough. You can withstand this, and all those things, and all that positive reinforcement for themselves, and that's brilliant, and that's awesome. And there's times where I will use that for myself, where it'll be, you might be deep into a dirty workout, or through a set of squats or whatever, and it's like, oh, come on lad, you can do this, come on, let's go, sort of thing. But most of the time, when it comes to strength, when it comes to weights, when it comes to sets and reps inside of a commercial gym or weightlifting or powerlifting, strongman, all those sorts of things where it's, you rest, and then when it's go time, it's go time. That's when I'll start using the negative stuff and I'll start going through the aggression, and it will start sort of, you kind of throw punches at yourself. And it's like, well, you can either stand there and take it and eventually you're going to end up getting knocked out, or you can start swinging back. And, you're in the gym for a reason. You put the iron in your hands for a reason. So, hopefully you start swinging back. And I just wanted to make a quite important point is those negative thoughts, those aggressive behaviour, that sort of place that you go to mentally cannot be gone to all the time. So every time I set foot in the gym, I'm not like dark in my head. Like most of the time, I'm just thinking through things, like, just sort of allowing my mind to wander wherever it's going to go, and whatever topic of life it sort of comes up, I'll sort of work through that as I'm in a commercial gym or working through some sets and reps. But at the same time, if it gets heavy, I'm not one of those people that can have country music on in the background, tell a yo mama joke to your mate, and turn and put a heavy back squat on my back and start sitting it down and standing it up. No. I need someone to slap me on the back and tell me I'm a fucking pussy, and then get underneath the bar and go for it. And but again, that's me. That is a highlight of the way I work and the way sort of psychologically I tick, and the way, I guess, it comes with habit as well, because that's just the way I've always trained. Usually I've got mates like threatening they're going to put their balls in my face if I fail a bench press, which is quite comical. But when you're all sweaty and you're a bunch of rugby lads in a dirty ass gym, you don't necessarily want that. But this highlights a point of, you've got to know yourself, team. You've got to know yourself. And if you don't, that's absolutely sound, but you've got to work through it and figure yourself out. Like, I say it all the time, coaches are incredible, but they can only do so much, and they're missing that key factor of that internal feedback that you're getting, or that intrinsic feedback, as we like to say in the whole sport science arena. And like, you guys get a different set of feedback than we do. Granted, you also feel the pain during the workout and we don't, which makes it a little bit easier to start shouting at you. But you need to figure out the way you work and the way you can help yourself. And there's going to be those times where you need positive. But sometimes you might need to experiment with a little bit of negative. If it doesn't work, that's absolutely sound. Back out of it and always be positive in your own head. But sometimes you might need to get a little bit pissed off with yourself. And like I said with the last episode with accountability, you need to hold yourself accountable. You need to be like, right, I want to set an example for my son or daughter. I want to set an example for my wife or husband or my significant other. I want to set an example for people in the gym. I just want to make myself fucking happy, and I'm not going to bitch out on this set, period. I am not fucking failing until this bar, or I'm not failing at all. It's either I'm going to stand up with this weight, or it's going to crush me. And sounds quite extreme, yes. But at the same time, the vast majority of the population are not going to actually put themselves to that point where their body will start breaking down and it will crush you and it will fuck you up. You know, if you've got spotters, if you're coached and you're in a good environment, then you'll be fine. Okay, well, it's when you start obviously going to the absolute extreme, you start pushing those percentages all the way up, then yeah, technically, you are risking a lot more. But like I said, as a whole, we're not there. So we don't really have to worry about that. I do feel like, obviously I'm biased there, team. Been on the athlete side of things for as long as I can remember, and also now on the coaching side of things pretty much as long as I can remember. I am biased with saying, like, it's a beautiful thing when you get to that stage and you get to that zone, that sort of red zone or death zone or black zone or whatever the fuck you want to call it, where you've literally put yourself in unknown territory. You don't know how your body's going to react. You don't know how your mind's going to react. You know, you're pushing through a workout. You've done more sets or you've done more volume or intensity than you've ever done before. You know, obviously this can be related to sport as well. You've basically pushed yourself beyond where you thought your limits were. And you've stepped over that line and just thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to see what happens when I step over this line. And, if I die, I die. Obviously, that's an extreme point. But I think it's a beautiful, beautiful place to push yourself to, team, because you end up learning a lot about yourself, and you also end up learning how you tick. So, there's times where I'll put myself into that stage, and I'll really, really benefit and be like, oh, okay, like this is the place I need to go mentally to be able to get that extra 5% out of me physically. And those lessons are what we use when we leave the gym. When stress really hits the fucking fan, where workload is through the fucking roof, where you've just had a baby and you're not sleeping, where, relationships might be on a thread. And all these times, life really smacks you against the wall and you can feel that wall, on your back. And there's nowhere else for you to go apart from forwards. And you really take those lessons that you learned from yourself when you stepped into that unknown place and you're just like, I've never done this before physically. And this hurts like an absolute fucker. But I'm going to put myself there anyway, because mentally I'm strong enough, and I'm also going to see how physically strong I am, and also how mentally strong you are. Because you might know you're strong enough, but you don't truly know until you actually put yourself there. And I'm not saying go out and like completely wreck yourself psychologically to see where you're at, but I'm just saying pushing yourself to that point can also help you. It helps you outside of the gym. Yeah, team. So that's a little bit of a roundabout way of how do you talk to yourself. Next time you do put yourself into a pretty sticky situation, lungs are burning, legs are shaking, and you really don't want to push forward. Think to yourself, how are you talking to yourself? Have a little dabble. Have a little dabble with that positive stuff. Be really encouraging towards yourself. Have a little dabble if you feel like it will help you. Have a little dabble with that negative stuff. I'm not saying call yourself every name under the sun, but sometimes just don't be a little bitch can really put what you need into action. Can really push yourself that little bit further than you thought you could go. So team, I hope that really helped, or at least helped a little bit, just to start thinking and start asking those questions for yourself. There's, like we say all the time, there's only so much other people can do for you, especially with health and fitness. It is an industry where if a spade comes up, you need to call a spade a spade. Basically, if you don't do the work, you don't get the results. It is fucking simple. You can't take a pill and end up lifting the world, and you also can't drink a fucking skinny tea and get 8 packs on your ball sack. Like, this is an industry where you need to do the work. And it's also an industry where everything's going to be different for everybody. Like, everybody is different and every body is different. So everyone's different, every individual is different, and all those individual human bodies are going to be different too. They're going to react differently. We've all had environmental differences. We've all got past differences, injuries, all that sort of stuff. It will be fucking different. So think to yourself, how are you going to talk to yourself mentally? Next time you put yourself into that place, next time you push yourself to that barrier, be a little bit more conscious of how those words are circling around your head. Is it going in a positive direction? Is it going in a negative direction? And how does that affect you? Okay, if there's a positive outcome, then it is positive. If it is a negative outcome, then it will be negative. Right, team. Hopefully you've had a good one. Have a fucking great day. Make someone smile today, because everyone loves smiling. Eat some good food. Laugh a lot. And enjoy yourselves, team. Peace and love.